watched the World Championship match against Fabiano, he employed the Sicilian regularly, and he employed this Sicilian here, which is the so-called Sveshnikov Sicilian, e5 in this position, knight db5, d6, and this is the main starting position of the Sveshnikov, where the old main line has been bishop g5, but a la Fabiano, Jorden, who's obviously come very well prepared here, decides to play knight d5, which is the move that Fabiano really got some very promising positions with against Magnus in their World Championship match. Knight takes d5 is the only move, e takes d5, and we already reach a very key moment in this opening. Do you retreat this knight back to b8, or do you retreat it back to e7? Now, unfortunately today we haven't got Peter Leko here, who would be able to give us a 1-hour lecture on
the Sveshnikov system.
Everything. He's studied everything. The reason I don't like that move is because, or maybe I mean I didn't like weakening this guy here, but maybe it's not a bad suggestion at all to do this just to stop this knight invasion. So if I take and go knight e5 again, similar to that, and if I take this way, once again you achieve your knight e5 move with my rook on d4, which looks like it's a bit silly there, to be honest. So actually bishop s6 might be the move. Yeah.
Jorden is in the tank, which is good news, because yesterday he basically lost a bishop endgame without thinking.
Probably 50 hours, and Jorden, with his young Norwegian second, spent maybe 2 hours on this position. I don't understand what's the joy here.
Well, he got to castle queenside.
Congratulations.
That's something.
That's the bad news. You have to castle queenside. No, I mean the position is probably unclear, but just the fact that it must be so familiar to Magnus, and he had so much experience. I mean, playing it at the highest level at the World Championship match, with nerves were so high, and even there he didn't lose a game. Why would he lose it today? I mean, that would be beyond me. But okay, maybe I'll play it as well against Magnus in the last round. So let's not talk too much.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Giving him the fake, you know, the.
Okay, so by doing the knight thing, he gained control of the b6 square, and the thing is now you can push b5, yeah, at some point.
Yeah, so after knight e3 can...
I was, by the way, wondering, what I felt was principled here. Couldn't he try to take the pawn?
Yeah.
Knight e5 or what?
Yeah, I guess knight e5.
I don't know, b5 or I guess or what?
Something like this, or queen c7
okay,
first.
but it's a pawn at least.
Yeah, we were trying to work out these things, and the assumption was that just Magnus would have some play for this.
Pawn here, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, of course he has play because he's Magnus. But what exactly though? Just some queen, this one, yeah.
Again, it's.
Yeah, maybe the rook goes back. I just don't know. It's not terrible because this bishop is not going to attack any of my pieces. That's very good. The rook cannot go to a4 because my knight is here. I mean, who is going to touch my queen? I don't know for the moment. Yeah, so I would at least take the pawn and then see what happens. But maybe we're missing something. There is no refutation, right?
We're not using an engine, so if there was, then we would be...
Yeah, we can take with a bishop, of course. Because trading, yeah, that's a better move, because the knight was very good, and now if I take with the bishop, I have these weaknesses here. And if I take with the knight, then after AB, I don't cover the square, so the rook can come in. And the king is a bit more open, maybe. Maybe that's the... although, okay, I mean,
even here, king b1.
Yeah, okay, I mean, king b1, yeah, I don't know, this is hanging.
Is there an idea to go a5 instead of b5?
Yeah, but then I have the same position as in the game, just with an extra pawn.
There's rook a6.
Yeah, and then queen d4.
Queen d4.
I mean, with pawn a5, at least you're not going to go b5, because it's protected 100 times.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah. I guess it's critical to take this pawn, right? Because
I think so, because, well, Magnus now is not pawn down, and okay, he can pretend to be very brave, but just like everyone, he doesn't want to give his pawns, yeah? I mean, so I don't know.
Well, Vladimir doesn't seem to.
He pretends. Nobody likes to give his pawns.
No? Okay. But this position looks fairly balanced. I mean, if white gets rook c1 in, I mean, it's critical now, isn't it, to...
Well, I just don't... I mean, it's an interesting position, but, like, I want to have it with an extra pawn. I mean, Yeah, it's still completely unclear because I put rook on c1 probably.
Wow, we actually had some more moves here, Anish, because after knight e3,
Yeah, f4.
Magnus
of course,
went for f4.
yeah. Yeah, g takes, rook takes.
Takes and takes.
Yeah. Okay, these pawns are weak. Yeah, I mean, Magnus can also switch the queen. Yeah, here and attack h4 at some point. He doesn't have to open the queen side necessarily. And it's not clear to me exactly what's. Can I try knight g2 actually? Yeah, okay, but then even rook back. Yeah. Knight is not very well placed. Okay, I have to protect this pawn for now. Yeah, no.
Do you have to protect it?
Yeah, I guess. Otherwise, I'm taking it. e4 is always
There's
bishop
no
g6. Yeah.
No, I didn't want to take on g4. I was just seeing if there's some weird tactic, but doesn't seem.
I don't
there
like
is.
the move rook h2.
No. No, that feels strange, putting the rooks there.
Mhm.
Maybe black's just better here.
Yeah. I mean, by logic of the game, I think black probably better, yeah, because white didn't take the pawn at some point, and then didn't achieve anything either. So I guess black already is better.
Yeah, and that's obviously not good for the youngster.
But I don't know, of course. I mean, this bishop h5, maybe it's not a good move or anything. I'm just, this just surprised me. But because I assume that's how the game is going to proceed, that would be very logical continuation. Because, you know, black's problem is that he has some issues with this h5 pawn, so he sacrifices it. Then here, bishop h5, knight e5. It's very natural. The knight comes in, so he sort of prevents it for now.
Yeah.
Then he still wants to get it. Still sacrifices the pawn. So I mean, by logic of the game, like black sort of gives up this pawn, but he has some play.
Yeah.
And if you don't take the pawn, then you have only the butt left. So.
Okay, so Magnus looks like he's in a.
Yeah, but it's too late for him. I mean, he already set the record. It's all written in the books. I mean, he can win all he wants now.
Is it a what kind of
it's a
record?
Yeah. It's
Record?
it's an international record. Yeah. It's a historic moment yesterday.
I think you're just trolling
No.
me. No. Oh, you're not trolling me.
No, I mean Tarjei, this Norwegian guy
Yes.
who is, I mean, he's basically the modern day historian, you know, writing down all the records.
Yeah.
He studied the records, so. just
Wow.
like that,
Okay, I thought that was.
yeah. I mean, Kasparov made many draws. I mean, I made many draws. Ding Liren made many draws, but Magnus made the most of them.
There you go. You heard it here first, guys.
No, not first.
Mr.
Everybody's talking about it. I don't know what you think.
Is there any other game here? Play rook takes f2 here. And it's back over to Jorden, who's got just 15 minutes left to make 11 moves in a very complex position. That does not bode very well, in my opinion.
No.
And the truth is, there isn't, I mean, it doesn't feel as though there's much going on here. If you take on d6, I recapture. White would love to play knight c4, hitting this queen and trying to dislodge it, but after knight c4, black can just take. And if you take
back and then...
Well, you can, in the worst case scenario, take here, queen takes d2.
And it's a pawn up for black. Active
Exactly.
pieces and the material up. Yeah, I really liked how Anish describes the situation for today's game for Jorden. That Jorden chose a variation that he very well knows that Magnus Carlsen analyzed for the World Championship match, invested so much time in this opening Magnus with the black pieces and Magnus's team and all those supercomputers that they are using for their preparation. So it was a very brave but perhaps too optimistic of a decision to go for this variation against Magnus.
Well, as I said also, it was all about how deep the preparation went. So if it was a bit light, then you're going to get punished by Magnus. And yeah, the position does look very, very ominous here for Jorden. And I wonder if the pressure is getting to him now, playing the world champion. I don't actually have a move here, I have to say. I don't see anything completely clear-cut. I'm d6, trying something, but king h7 by Magnus. And now Jorden, yeah, I mean, it's two pawns. A knight can always come to d3. This rook is pinned, and I guess the objective evaluation of this position is that white is completely toast here.
11 minutes left for Jorden Van Foreest, but that's not the main factor, the position. With two pawns down in an endgame against Magnus Carlsen, and it's not just the two pawns, but all the black pieces are very active, way better than the white pieces. There's just no compensation for the material for Jorden. Unfortunately, for the Dutch audience, we gotta say that Jorden Van Foreest is in a lost position.
Yeah, objectively it has to be very bad. I don't even see a way for white to try something tricky here, because he's also got problems with his own king on the back rank, so there's always mating ideas there. I don't think resignation is actually premature here. Jorden understands he's toast. He's trying to come up with something here just to maybe, you know, just try and confuse Magnus, but the truth is that Magnus is completely solid. Yeah, resignation he's not going to resign. And also,
Not
just
yet.
d7, you can just take it. This is the point.
Yeah, the bishop is hanging on e2.
So,
There's just simply no counterplay for the young Dutchman. And that means that Magnus Carlsen is going to score his first win ever since last autumn.
in the Kramnik versus Mamedyarov game, incredibly, we last saw it here after b4, a4, and Anish thought black was fine. He knows what he's talking about, and it was the case. Bishop e3, queen takes e5, and knight c3 by Kramnik. And basically what happened was bishop takes bishop, queen takes knight, but this then allowed bishop c5, and knight takes bishop, and everything came off, Anna. And we're going to get a position where all the pieces are going to be come off, and that's that.
Unfortunately, even though Vladimir Kramnik is here to enjoy chess and take risk, this position is not about taking risk at all. Even he cannot do it. He can't just go all in all the time. But we gotta go back to the World Champions game.
Wow, so c5, rook takes f2 happened. He played queen c3, queen takes c5. I mean, two pawns now. Queen takes c5, d6, d takes c5, d6, trying something, but king h7 by Magnus. And now Jorden, yeah. I mean, it's two pawns. A knight can always come to d3. This rook is pinned, and I guess the objective evaluation of this position is that
Made the camera disappear for a second, and there we are back.
Jorden is going to be giving the handshake here. This is it. He's already decided he's going to give up because, yeah, there's just no moves left in the position to continue with. 3 pawns down against Magnus. You've got much better things to do than play on that position. He'll be very disappointed though.
Go to the cheese market.
Exactly. But he'll be very disappointed because he really was, he had to take on h5 at some moment.
Yeah, you gotta take at least the material, so the position was complex, and for sure Magnus would have had compensation for the pawn, but you gotta take that pawn so that at least you can claim you have something, a pawn up. Jorden clearly very disappointed.
And he's just thinking, where did it all go wrong?
Handshake. Magnus Carlsen wins his first ever game since the European Club Cup.